Hello YouTubers, this is going to be a video on potatoes, the different kinds of potatoes, and how they can be used. There are so many different kinds of potatoes out there, it's just mind-boggling. And basically this is going to cover the different kinds, the three different kinds of potatoes there are as far as categories are concerned. For more information, if you go to the kitchen, the link is highlighted by the red arrow down below.com, and it'll go over different kinds of potatoes. It's actually pretty informative and gives you all kinds of good information. It's rather nice. Okay, there's basically three categories of potatoes. There's starchy, uh, which basically put off a cloudy residue if you cloud them or you try to can them or put them in water. Then there's waxy. These are good for potato salads, and they don't produce much starch at all. They're good for canning. They're really good. And then there's all-purpose. These are for baking. You can use them for anything. Basically, it covers a broad spectrum, but they do put off starch as well, so keep that in mind. Okay, the first one we're going to cover is starchy potatoes. This is the most common find that you'll find in a supermarket or farmer stand or farmer's market for that matter, is a russet potato. These russet potatoes are absolutely great all-purpose. They are just wonderful, whether it be for baking, for canning, for frying, a number of different applications. Then we have the jewel yam. The jewel yam is actually a sweet potato, not a true yam. This is the most commonly found market sweet potato that you'd find in a farmer's market. It's actually great baked or roasted, doesn't matter. And then of course we have the Japanese sweet potato. It has a pink to purple skin with white flesh. Its flavor sweet. It's really good. It's kind of nutty, but it can be grilled, steamed, or baked. And then you have what's called the Hana sweet potato. It's just like a jewel potato, but it's got lighter skin and flesh. I personally haven't had a chance to check these out, but people swear by them and say they're really good for multi-purpose, believe it or not. Again, these are starchy potatoes. Any of the potatoes covered in this video can be used in canning. Just keep in mind, if you use starchy potatoes, they will cloud up a jar when it comes to canning, but it will not affect the taste, and it will not affect anything except a visual aspect of it. So these can be used in canning. If they're used in regular cooking, they're great. They're absolutely wonderful. Now our other category, waxy potatoes, they're a little bit different than our starchy potatoes. What I mean by that is the waxy potatoes don't produce as much starch. They hold together well when it comes to boiling and then refrying them. Or for potato salads, they hold real together. They don't get mushy when you boil them. That's the difference between your waxy potatoes and basically your starchy potatoes. Okay, for the first one, waxy potatoes, we have the Lorette. These are little fingerling shaped potatoes. They have a silky texture and a nutty flavor. They're best when they're roasted or boiled whole. They are great for canning. They're great for potato salads. They're actually hold their shape real good when it comes to boiling. The other kind of potato we have is rose fin apple. This is an heirloom fingerling with a pink, often knobby skin, golden buttery yellow flesh. It has an earthy flavor and it's great boiled, grilled, sauteed, potato salads. It can be used in canning as well. Then there's the Russian banana. This potato's got a pale skin, rich yellow flesh, firm texture, and this is also same applications. It's good when it's grilled, sauteed, fried, potato salad, or it can be roasted or steamed, and it actually holds together unlike your starchy potatoes. Now another potato you might come across is a red thumb. That's a fingerling, bright red skin, pink flesh. That can be boiled, roasted. Again, these are actually used, all these waxy potatoes are actually used in potato salad. They can be used in canning, number of different applications. And then we have the French fingerling. These have pink skins and yellow flesh. They're heirloom fingerlings. Again, has smooth skin and yellow flesh. And these are good for roasting. These are really good for roasting if you can find them. If you're out in the woods like me or out in the sticks, it's very hard to come across these. And lastly, we have the Austrian crescent. This is an heirloom variety as well, and it has a tan smooth skin with a light yellow flesh, and this is great in potato salads. Our last category is all-purpose potatoes. All-purpose potatoes are absolutely wonderful. They can be used in any application. You may or may not have starch problems when it comes to clarity in your canning jars, and some of them, depending on the kind, you will have to worry about them falling apart depending on the variety. A lot of them falling apart in potato salads and so forth. And if you're going to be going with potato salads and you want one that's absolutely positively firm, that's not going to fall apart and get all mushy and stuff, then you definitely want to go with your waxy potatoes. Now, one of your all-purpose potatoes happens to be your all blue potato, and it's blue inside out. It looks a little weird, and it has a dry texture. It holds shape really well. And it can be used in potato salads, but you've got to be real careful about it falling apart if you cook it too much. Steaming and baking will actually keep its color. Other than that, it will fade if you boil it too much. And then we have the red gold. These are medium sized red skinned potatoes with golden flesh. You'll find these at Walmart. You might find them at some farmer's market, depends on the variety. Don't think because it's red it happens to be red gold. Just because it's red, there's actually tons and tons of different varieties out there, but this is an absolutely wonderful potato. Another all purpose potato is the Purple Majesty. These are oblong, they have dark purple skin, and it actually keeps its color when it's cooked, and it's high in antioxidants compared to a lot of the other all-purpose potatoes. And these are good baked, and they're good in potato salads as well. Now this Yukon Gold, this is very popular. You'll find this in a lot of supermarkets or a lot of markets, farmers markets. These are absolutely wonderful when it comes to an all-purpose potato. And this potato happens to be a Norland Red. They have a creamy white flesh that it holds up really well when it's cooked. And these are also good for potato salads for an all-purpose potato. Now this is a Kennebec. This is my personal favorite. This is what I use in canning. It does put off a lot of starch. This is a large potato. It's got a tan skin, white flesh. It can be baked, mashed, fried, or shredded into potato pancakes. It actually holds together well when it's boiled in water. It will fall apart if you go ahead and put it in a jar and go ahead and can it. This is a favorite among local farmers who like to grow these. You will find this just about any farmer's market. You'll also find it in Walmart. Basically anywhere produce is sold, this happens to be a very popular potato. A lot of people have asked me which one is my favorite. I cannot give you my particular favorite. I just happen to be stuck with Kennebec. A lot of people, they're on a budget. If you're on a budget, you're going to, 9 chances out of 10, you're going to go with whatever Walmart has or the local farmer's market has or the local growers have. Chances are it's going to be a Kennebec. It could be a different variety, but I'm not knocking waxy potatoes, or like I said, if you're worried about appearances, you can't go wrong with a waxy potato. Other than that, I prefer to go with a Kennebec, but that's just me. Now I'm going to cover green potatoes and why they turn green and the dangers of actually using these green potatoes. Basically, potatoes contain two types of alkaloids, and higher levels of these can result in digestive problems, and they can cause neurological problems. They can be potentially life-threatening, even though the cases are rare. You've got to be careful if you're like me and you're cutting potatoes up and you throw a scrap to a dog once in a while. These are actually very, very fatal to a lot of animals, a lot of birds, so you have to be really careful when it comes to green potatoes. That doesn't mean you have to throw the whole thing out. You just have to make sure you cut out the green. Not skin just the green part of the skin, but actually get all of that green completely out of there as much as possible. Stressful growing conditions and prolonged exposure to light can cause the alkaloid levels to actually increase, and exposure to the light triggers the chlorophyll formation in the skin and the potato itself, causing it to turn green. You can still eat these potatoes, like I said, if you peel away all the green skin in the surface layer of the potatoes where you can actually see the green. Basically, you want to throw this potato away if it goes mostly through the potato and you're seeing a little tinting issue with green. Basically, it's easier to just throw it away. this is pretty much the end of the video. And the reason I created this video in the first place was because I was asked if I could do one on the different kinds of potatoes and green potatoes and cover different topics. So I went ahead and I did that. Hopefully somebody got something out of this. I welcome your comments and your suggestions, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.